couple of guys, just a lady and a guy, just a family and a guy, trying to market some decisions, right? So, now, does this come by just doing it once a day?
No.
Have I only done that once? How many times have I stared in the mirror at home? How many do you think?
Every day.
100 times, right? Every Sunday afternoon. It really is sad, but it's true. Like, every Sunday after, like, you know, that knowing that, you know, based on everything you told me, like Corinne, right? Do you understand the idea? Does the idea make sense to you? That's a sense of secrecy, right? So again, tone is a really big deal. We talked a little bit about anchoring. We talked a little bit about knowing what your trigger point is. We'll talk about that later, but I really think that's important. Specifically, guys, when you're on the phone and you're selling that appointment, you've got that rock solid case. The guy's got an 11 or he's got an 05. They just spent $2,000 on. It's a truck. He's got another $2,000 of work to do in a couple of weeks. Probably in his best interest to move into something newer. I really want you to get that state of mind that you get, that you know with absolute certainty you can create a positive outcome. And I'll give you an example. I grew up in a hockey rink, right? To this very day, without question, when I walk into a hockey rink, I immediately flash back to when I was a kid. Like, I just smell the arena, right? It doesn't matter, I'm an old man today. I walk into an arena and I can remember being that kid, you know, carrying the bag and, you know, getting it from my dad for turning pucks over and all the stuff that happened when I was a hockey player. I don't remember playing in the big stadiums, but I remember those days in those cold rinks, you know, your toes are frozen, your nose was running. I have that immediate recall. For us, what's our set point as salespeople? When are we at our peak? When do we get that kind of, yeah, what happens? Louis? When do you reach that? Because we all have it as salespeople, right? It's the reason we're in a variable industry. We all yearn for this one word. What's the word we're looking for?
Yes.
Yes. And when we hear that yes, what's that? You're like, you get that little, yeah, right? We all get it, right? You had it yesterday with the lady that bought 3 cars from you in the last year and a half or 2.5 years. Like, you get that kind of tingle in your tummy, right? Like, yeah. Some people can't replicate that, right? Some people don't get that. And if you don't get that, then you cannot, under any circumstances, work in the automotive industry. Or any variable industry for that matter. Because that's what drives us to the next customer. Because when you think about it, think about this. We're always searching for what word? Yes. But you know what? Yes might equate into $500, right? Lou, a yes might mean $500. But you know what? That no will mean $40. Why does that equation make sense? If the yes means $500, right? Yeah, got it. Another relationship. Right. I'm going to go home to think about it. $40, good job. Why does that equation make sense to anybody?
It'll take you 20 no's to get a yes, maybe?
Right. Eventually enough no's gets me a yes. So if I look at it from that perspective, if I get enough no's in a row, eventually I'm going to get a yes. And the better I get at doing all of this, what are my chances of getting yeses more often? Well, here's my expectation, ladies and gentlemen. My expectation is if we get to do this as well as I think we can, and just train and train and train and train ad nauseam, you know what? You're going to sell to everybody who's in the market to buy. Now, is everybody that you talk to on the phone and everybody that comes through the door in the market to buy?
No.
No, absolutely not. But what we want is every customer that's in the market to buy to be influenced and persuaded to make a positive buying decision. Right? Little mystery, but a whole bunch of certainty. All right? So find out what your anchor is. I don't really know. Only you know. But I want you to find out what it is. What is it that immediately gets you into that state? So when you're sitting across the customer, I know for me it's always sitting up. Right? So I like to sit up on the edge of the chair so that I'm up on kind of my toes. Like to sit beside customers. Kind of puts me in that little kind of comfort zone. Right? So whatever it is, you need to make a note of that. What finds, so on that customer, when you pick up that phone, or you sit in front of that customer, you're in that perfect state of mind because you know that I'm going to build massive rapport, gather a whole bunch of intelligence, and I'm going to move this customer down this line, knocking out all these internal beliefs they have about the sales process and salespeople in general and buying a car on the same day and blah, 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 blah. All right? Now, I also want you to write this down. 5 things that a presentation must have. Will be real quick because this is sort of a waste of time, but it would be a waste of time if I didn't touch on it. So everybody's got the tones to close, right? Got it. Now, really quick. So, 5 things. 1, a presentation is never finished. Okay? 1, never finished. Never. Never. It always evolves. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get and I'm going to read. You are going to write me down your closes. I'm going to expect them once a week. I want closes. You are going to become professionals at influence and persuasion. Absolute pros. Okay, 1. 2, should be short. Your presentation should be short. I used a term, a military term before. It started with keep. Anybody remember it? Keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry. What does that mean? Save your best for last, right? Save your best for last. Welcome, Lally Kia, my name's Todd, and you are blah, 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 blah. We're going to think about the store is we have concierge service, no wait, we give a demo to everybody, blah, 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 blah. No. No. I don't have anything left. So, presentation always evolves, never stops, right? You're always working at it. 2, make it short. So your initial presentation is short. All right, you want to keep your powder dry because we know we're going to hear what? We're going to hear no, because we'll talk about that in a minute. 3, don't ramble about the benefits. 3, don't ramble about the benefits early. Don't ramble. And that goes back to when we're gathering intelligence, right? What kind of car do you drive? I drive a 2013 Honda Civic. Oh, what a great car. Oh my God, that was great. It won car of the year that year. I can't believe it. You have it in a sedan or a coupe. I got it. Oh my God, the coupe was the best car. Don't ramble. Answer the question, move on. Answer the question, move on. No monologues. Answer the question, move on. Because why do we do that? We're what?
Professionals.
Professionals. We're pros. We got to get this intel and get moving, right? We got to get the intel and get moving. 4, we want to begin to paint pictures using metaphors and analogies. We'll have some fun with this. Paint pictures to customers using metaphors and analogies. Sorry about the, I don't know the spelling, so I just bowled my way through. Analogies. Use comparisons using metaphors and analogies. Let me ask you a question, Sharon. In real estate, would you not agree it's all about location, location, location? Yes. And in the auto industry, it's all about timing, timing. Is that a metaphor and analogy, right? Is it a metaphor using a comparison like or as, or is that a, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so let's go over there for a second. Way off the line there, right? Like, so let me ask you, Todd. And then finally, you want at 5, this is really important. You gotta follow these. Number 5 is you want to link Lally Kia and Kia in general to what? As a trustworthy company. Somebody read me the 5 we need to do. Luby, what's 1?
Our presentation is never finished.
Never finished. Always evolve in the presentation, right? Whether it's body language, whether it's the way I speak, how closely do I get to a lady? We know we never stand in front of a lady. We always talk to the side, how we shake hands, right? We don't squeeze too hard. We don't squeeze too weak, right? Do we look somebody right in the eye? Do we look in their right eye, right? It always evolves. Number 2, somebody. How was your presentation? Short. Keep your powder dry. What does that mean, Joe?
Save your ammunition for the end.
Save it for the end when you need it, because you know we're going to hear what?
No.
We're going to hear no.
Don't think about it.
3. Anybody got it?
Do not ramble.
Do not ramble, right? Monologues are out. Exit stage right. Ask the question, move on. Ask the question, move on. Now, are we using different tonal patterns when we ask questions?
Absolutely.
Certainly we are, because that allows us to build what?
Rapport.
Rapport. Rapport isn't talking about your trip to Bermuda. Number 4, Lori, what is it?
Begin to take pictures using metaphors and analogies.
Right. Lori, let me ask you a question. If you bought a car from me, your daughter bought a car from me, your mother-in-law bought a car from me. Remember Jim from the golf course? He came in, bought a car from me. Chances are he wouldn't be going home to think about it right now, would it? chances are we'd be probably introducing you to Sean Hughes, my financial service manager, right?